Happy Victory Monday, Vikings fans, and welcome in the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, I want to dive into some of the top takeaways from the Vikings-Commanders game where the Vikings caught a big-time victory in blowout fashion, shutting out the Washington Commanders. We're going to start off here talking about number 9, J.J. McCarthy. Now, earlier on this morning, went back, watched the film, watched all 22. I got 5 takeaways for you guys. And number 1 was he got the ball out way quicker than he did yesterday compared to any of the 6 previous starts. And I think this is advantageous to McCarthy because, we have seen him speed up his mental processing a whole lot. And when he's holding on to the ball, he can get very chaotic in the pocket where he just feels like he's a little kid running around all over. But yesterday, it was hit that back foot, 3 hitches, get the ball out quick, which I think that was, just huge. Just get him some confidence early on in the game. Like one play I loved was second down. I think it was on the first possession of the game. Vikings come out, spread it all out, 5 guys out there. So JJ seeing it all in front of him, he just gets the ball, hits his back foot, hits it to the tight end for a solid 10-yard gain. But that's just to get him some confidence and some momentum rolling. So that was great. And then overall command of the offense. Obviously this was not a high leverage game. Like you're at home against the Commanders, but how do you lose a game like this is you have pre-snap penalties. You're not living up to your expectation, and I thought he just had good command. Like there was no pre-snap BS that they were working through. Everybody seemed like they were in the right spot at the right time, and it just felt like the Vikings offense was a smooth operation. I mean, for the first time since Detroit. I mean, it's been about a month since the Vikings have had a competent offense, but we saw that yesterday, and you got to give credit to the quarterback because just like how we were burying JJ for all those pre-snap penalties against the Baltimore Ravens, we can give him credit for not having pre-snap penalties here against the Washington Commanders. So I thought that was great. And I thought he was mostly accurate throughout the majority of the game. Now, he did have a couple of misfires, and one to Jordan Addison on the right sideline, which, his mechanics got a little out of whack. But, he just misfired on that one. But overall, he was pretty accurate. Like, he had some big-time throws, too. To Addison, to Jalen Naylor, hit T.J. Hockenson on a sweet out route on the first drive of the game. So he was mostly accurate, and I thought his athleticism and, just his overall ability to make plays was on full display. He picked up a couple key first downs with his legs, and when he does, tuck that ball and take off with, the intent to go pick up a first down with his legs, like he can be a very good athlete. So I thought that was impressive, and the mechanics were very much improved. So that was also key as well. Like, his lower body seemed like it was more connected to his upper body. He wasn't kind of flailing down or flailing his right back foot up a lot of the time. So his mechanics looked a whole lot better. And his spray chart was pretty satisfying, I will say, waking up this morning. Like, also this whole notion that JJ can't throw to the left side of the field, I guess that was put to bed yesterday. I mean, he was firing it, especially those 2 green dots you see up on the top left of your screen. Those were both big-time throws. One to Addison, one to Naylor, but he was getting the ball out quick. He was fairly accurate. I mean, you see on the right side of your screen, like those 3 white dots, he misfired a couple of times, but overall, like it was just solid improvement for J.J. McCarthy. So let's show him some love because, listen, the Vikings are playing meaningless games right now, but there is a lot to evaluate for the rest of the season. So that's why I hope this fan base and this team stays locked in because, hey, we still got a young quarterback developing. And yesterday was like a huge step in the right direction. Now, I'm not going to get up on here and say, oh, JJ's the franchise quarterback. He's the guy. Like, he's the for sure, no doubt starter for next season. But it's a building block. Because now, me personally, I'm fired the hell up for that game in Dallas next week. I want the Vikings going to Dallas and get a win for that quarterback, for that head coach, Kevin O'Connell, because those two looked good yesterday. And JJ, we're starting to see him take those next steps. So hopefully he can continue it in Dallas next weekend. So show him some love. Type those 9s. We'll give some love here to Kevin O'Connell. I have been super, super critical of him, and, it doesn't really change my overall thoughts on who I think he is as a head coach and as a play caller. I think he has his limitations, like still refuses to stay committed to the run. His short yardage play calling still throughout his career has been very poor, but yesterday, stay committed to the run. Vikings had 34 carries for over 162 yards. They were great on third and short situations. And the one thing about KOC, and this isn't a play calling thing, this isn't a play design thing. The one thing I really loved from yesterday is after the game, he mentioned in the locker room, he said, hey guys, what did I ask you last night? And he pretty much alluded to that he asked the team to imagine what their 16-year-old versions of themselves would be saying about themselves right now after this game. And I thought that was just cool perspective because it is easy for these guys to be like, man, we're 4-8, we're taking on a 3-9 team. Like, who really cares about this? But I think him kind of tapping into like that kid version of playing football makes you guys realize like, yes, it is just playing football. Like we're just playing a kid's game. So I will give credit to Kevin O'Connell there, not just the play calling yesterday or the play design. I thought him just being a leader of this group, I thought that was probably the most impressive stuff. I mean, you come out, you beat a team 31-0. Like that does give me some hope that Kevin O'Connell, you still has this locker room bought in. So shout out to KOC there. But also kind of a negative takeaway, I think. Brian Flores is going to be a head coach. I think, honestly, as Vikings fans, we have undervalued Flores and just how impactful he is for this defense because, one, the Vikings have one of the most unique schemes in the NFL, and we know this. Like, they walk guys up on the line of scrimmage. They show you a pre-snap look. They show you, even like a mid-snap look, and then change it at the last second. Like, they have one of the most unique schemes in the league. But just seeing this defense still fly around, seeing the intensity they play with, like, these guys are still bought in, and they're trying to play good football for Flores. And I thought Flores was just absolutely fantastic yesterday. I mean, he had Jaden Daniels when he was out there. He couldn't even pick up first downs. He was a 9-20 in the game, and the credit goes to the defensive coordinator. Like when you see Gink, when you see Grenard, you see guys like Eric Wilson flying around. Like they play with a certain identity, and I think they take on the identity of their coordinator. And I will still say this: the Vikings need to do everything they can to keep Brian Flores. Now, I am hoping that they don't need to potentially fire Kevin O'Connell to keep Brian Flores. But I will stand by this take. If I had to pick a head coach between Brian Flores and Kevin O'Connell, I think I would take Flores. Now, that can change. But right now, in this present moment, I would take Flores as a head coach heading the next year over Kevin O'Connell. And just because the identity he brings to your football team. You are a fast, mean, physical group. And that is because of your defensive coordinator. I think his scheme is fantastic. I think he is truly the best DC in the league, and I think he could be one of the better head coaches in the league. I think he deserves a second chance in the NFL, and I think the Vikings, obviously they're not going to fire O'Connell. I think that is a 0% chance of happening, but you're probably going to lose Flores this cycle. Whether it's a team like the Falcons, whether it's a team like the Raiders, or maybe even the Titans take a flyer on him, there will be a team out there that I think will take a flyer on Flores because of how good he's been this year for the Vikings. But, hey, I think Flores is just slightly better than Kevin O'Connell. I think it's probably 52% flow, 48% KOC. But again, all this can change. Like Kevin O'Connell, the one thing I will say about Kevin O'Connell is he did change his ways yesterday, which makes me believe that maybe he is not as stuck in his ways and, stingy as I thought he was previously. Because the last 2 weeks, like it really felt like KOC was saying, like, I'm going to run my offense. We're going to do it my way, and I'm not going to change it all. Like yesterday, he did change. So I like the self-awareness. I will eat a lot of my words probably if Kevin O'Connell ends up turning out to be, still a great head coach for the Vikings, which he still is. He's still a very, very good head coach. I just think that guy right there is extremely, extremely special. So shout out to Flores. But you guys let me know who's a better coach. Type KOC or give me a B flow for Brian Flores. Now we'll get to more takeaways here in a second, but today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. Now it is a holiday season, and it's the best time of year for sports, bowl games, basketball and football matchups, playoff pushes. It is all happening at once. And when you and I are out here making decisions every day, what gifts to buy, what to eat, which game to watch, there's one place where it feels good to be right, and that is PrizePicks. So download the PrizePicks app today and plug in that promo code CLNS to get hooked up with $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Now, PrizePicks has a new feature called Early Payouts. If your lineup gets off to a hot start, you may have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. PrizePicks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. So download the PrizePicks app today, plug in that promo code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's promo code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring today's show. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. This is actually a segment of the show I'm fired up to talk about. Though the wide receivers need to step up. That was probably the most glaring film takeaway I had from rewatching just the passing snaps from yesterday. I haven't dove into the whole game, but right now I just watched all of J.J. McCarthy's dropbacks. The other wide receivers need to step the hell up. This guy right here, I will say this confidently. Nobody in NFL history has gotten the looks this guy has. It wasn't just double teams yesterday. It was double teams plus shading a linebacker, plus shading a safety. Like the Washington Commanders, honestly, smartly, they probably came into this game saying, hey, you know what? Jefferson, he just had 2 catches for 4 yards against the Seahawks. We know Kevin O'Connell, he's going to want to keep his guy happy. So we're going to completely blanket him. I am, again, if you guys have the all 22, just go back and watch Justin Jefferson on every passing play. This guy's getting 4-6 eyeballs minimum every single time. And there's other guys that need to step up, like Jordan Addison. He had that one drop yesterday, but I mean, I just have been as blown away by Addison than I have over the last couple of years. Like even just watching the film and watching the way he's creating separation. He's still a very, very good wide receiver. I still think he's a top 40 wide receiver in the league. No doubt, probably even still a top 32 wide receiver. But we need more from him because I'm looking at the looks that Jefferson's getting. I'm like, Addison, why aren't you getting open every single play? You are one-on-one every single play, and you can thank number 18 for that. And then Hockenson, I'll tell you what, Hockenson looked good on that one touchdown, but still, he is getting one-on-one looks every single play. And he just needs to be better. He needs to create more separation. But, I mean, seriously, you guys got to go back and look at it. It is unbelievable how much attention and how much just focus defenses give to Justin Jefferson. And I'm sure Jamar Chase, I'm sure JSN, I'm sure these other wide receivers in the NFL get somewhat of these looks, but they're not getting what 18 gets. Like Justin Jefferson talked about it this week, talking about his struggles, and somebody compared like the bad quarterback play to Garrett Wilson. And he said respectfully, I'm not Garrett Wilson. I don't get the looks that Garrett Wilson gets. And Garrett Wilson's a top 10 receiver in the league, but there are levels to it. Like Jefferson is an all-time talent. They try to take him away. Like I promise you, Jamar Chase isn't getting that. Like Amon-Ra's not getting that. Pook is not getting that. Like these other guys aren't getting the looks that Jefferson's getting defensively. So I will give him credit. Like he's had to battle through bad quarterback play, getting all the attention in the world, not being as productive. And this guy on the sidelines yesterday after the game, Jefferson was just smiling because his team was winning. So, nothing but respect and love for number 18. But more respect and love to this guy. Defensively, Eric Wilson, probably one of the best free agent pickups for the Vikings this past year. He was flying around the football field yet again. And, he is one of those guys where, when we picked him up this offseason, all right, it's a good rotational linebacker. I mean, the guy's playing like a Pro Bowler this year. He had another sack yesterday. Flores loves to blitz this man. Him and Cashman are great at those linebacker twists up front that has caused confusion to offensive linemen. And, he's playing some great football. He's a great form tackler. And I would be more than happy bringing him back on another contract. But Eric Wilson, just great stuff this year. Like, because Ivan Pace Jr., like, think about it. Ivan Pace became unplayable. They needed somebody to step up, and Eric Wilson took on that role, and he was even better than we expected. So shout out to 55. But my final takeaway, and this is probably the biggest takeaway I had, if I just wanted to go like, hey, I wasn't a Vikings fan, I wasn't a Commanders fan, and I was just an NFL fan watching this game, the Commanders are terrible. And yes, the Vikings were great in all three phases yesterday. Like, offense played really good, defense was flat out amazing, special teams did their thing, but this game was more about the Washington Commanders and truly how bad the roster is. I think defensively, they have to be the slowest and oldest unit in the league. I mean, Bobby Wagner, he was great last year. He should not be out there on the football field. Von Miller, same can be said with him. They just got a bunch of old guys, and I just think yesterday, just watching it back, even last night, just watching back the highlights, like, the Commanders are terrible. Like, just flat out terrible. It's a great win. I feel good for this team. I feel good for the guys in the locker room. And also, I will say this one thing. I was saying the Vikings should, like, I'm rooting for a tank for the rest of the year, them to just lose the rest of their games. I take that back. Like, listen, it's any given Sunday in the NFL. I will root for this team to win no matter what. And also, the Vikings aren't a good drafting team anyways. Like, if they get the 7th pick compared to the 13th or the 14th pick, who the hell cares? It's not like like, those are just faceless names you're kind of hoping you end up getting. So I'm anti-tank. I hope they go in and beat the Cowboys next week. I hope they beat the Giants. And, of course, I hope they beat the Packers and the Lions. Like, there's no chance of me rooting for losses in either of those games. But overall, really good game. Step in the right direction for a young quarterback. But mainly, I think this game was about the Commanders being terrible. But, again, a building block for JJ. So now go do it again in Dallas against the Cowboys next week. But we'll be live later today on the channel. And if you guys made it to the end of today's show, just hit me with a skull down below. But we'll be live at probably 3 p.m. Central Time. So tune in then, and we'll get on out of here. As always, Skull Vikes.